Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome again, my dear students, ninth grade students. Here we are again. We are still in Unit 7. Of course, today we have reading lesson. This is student book, page 81. Today's lesson is an article about one of the countries. It's about Singapore. It's a small country. It's just like the size of a city. And this is Singapore, a success story. So in this text, of course, students would be able to read and listen to the article, answer the questions about the text, learn a number of new words in context, and express their opinions about the topic. Okay, so let's move directly to your student book. This is on page 81. Of course, this is student book, page 81, Singapore. As you can notice that we have these two photos. This is the map of Singapore, and here's a photo taken from Singapore. The first thing is to start with number one. Work with the partner, look at the photo of Singapore and make a list of at least 3 adjectives to describe the city. So, if you take a look at this city, what adjectives can be used to describe a city or a country like Singapore? So what can you say about Singapore? Complete the sentence. Singapore is what? You need certain adjectives. Of course, you should have your own guessings by looking at the photos. Of course, you can note that you can suggest certain adjectives like it's a big city, it's noisy, it's modern, and it's green. There are a lot of trees in the photo. Of course, you can suggest your own adjectives to describe the photo of the city or the country. Okay, let's move to the most important, which is reading the text. So read the article about Singapore. What's the main focus of the article? What's the topic of the article? Here we have 3 different topics. So now we will start reading and listening to the article, and now after that you will have certain questions to answer about this article about Singapore.
CD 2, Track 31. Listen to the article. Singapore, a success story. Singapore is a fascinating place. It's a giant floating city 130 kilometers north of the equator. The city has 4 official languages: Chinese, Malay, Tamil, and English. English is the language everyone uses for official business, and all the schools teach English. Singapore is one of the smallest countries in the world, but it is also one of the richest. For years, it has been famous for its high level of education, and it's the #1 country in the world for teaching maths. Most people think that Asian schools in general are very strict. Is this the secret of Singapore's great success too? Not at all. If you walked into a maths class in a primary school in Singapore, you'd be surprised by how active and noisy it was. You wouldn't see children sitting quietly in their chairs, watching their teacher at the board and writing out sums in their notebooks. You would see a lot of activity and hear a lot of noise. School starts at the age of 7 in Singapore. The maths program starts very slowly, and the younger children spend a lot of time on the first steps. They use everyday objects, like beans and fruit, to feel and see the basic ideas. They don't copy from the board or do exercises in their books. They pick maths up through playing. By sharing objects with friends, they find out about division. By building towers with blocks, they learn addition. It looks like the children are simply playing, but they're not. They're working out the answers to complex problems in a fun and interesting way. Would this system work if it was taught in your country? A lot of schools around the world have tried it out. The UK, for example, and the USA. And it's been a great success. Fact. The largest maths class was given in Nigeria in July 2013, with 2,381 people in the class.
Okay, so this is the end of this record, and now of course we will come back to our question. So what do you think is the focus? What is the main topic of this article? Of course you can guess that we're talking about maths. So a new way of teaching an old subject. Of course it's not enough just to choose one topic which is mentioned in one paragraph or two paragraphs. So the topic should include the general idea of the text, so a new way of teaching an old subject. So here the text is designed to talk about a new subject, which is maths. That's why we choose C, not A. Of course we mentioned the location and we talked in one paragraph about learning languages, but it's not enough to say that this is the focus of the article. Okay, let's move now to number 3, of course. Now you are asked to stop the record here. Please stop here. Try to go back to the text, read the text, and try to find the answers. Read the article again and answer the questions. So please stop here. Try to answer these questions by yourself. Okay. After you have read the text, now you are asked to answer the questions. What about the location of Singapore? Where is Singapore? Of course, Singapore. It's 130 kilometers north of the equator. What is the equator? Of course, the equator is the line that divides the Earth, the planet Earth, into two halves, one north half and the south half. Okay, what is special about the country? What is special about Singapore? Of course, it's one of the smallest countries in the world, but it is also one of the richest. Something special about Singapore. It's small, but it's not a poor country. It's one of the richest. Is Singapore approach to teaching maths a traditional Asian approach? Is it traditional approach? Is it a traditional way, an old way of teaching maths? Of course, in the text you can guess that it's no. They have quite a unique, a special approach, a special way of teaching maths. At what age do children start school in Singapore? Of course, it's clear it's at the age of 7. At the age of 7. How do children learn basic ideas in maths in Singapore? What is their special way, their special approach? They use everyday objects to feel and see the basic ideas. We said like beans, like fruit, okay, like cubes. By building, they learn addition and different basic ideas in maths. What about the last question? Which countries have chosen to chose something, have chosen the Singapore approach, the way? Of course, we talked about the UK and the USA. Of course, here we have 6 questions, comprehension question about Singapore and mathematics, maths in Singapore. So let's move now to exercise 4. What do we have in number 4? Phrasal verbs. This is, remember that we studied these verbs when we explained language focus 2, your workbook. We had an exercise about these 5 verbs, and now we are asked to match these verbs taken from the text with their definitions. So we have pick up. What do we mean by phrasal verb? Of course, we have a verb and a preposition or an adverb. Here we have prepositions. Pick up, find out, write out. So we have the verb and the preposition. Work out and a try out. Of course, when you have a preposition, we have a different meaning of each verb. So it's different from saying a try, and try out is different from try alone. Work is different from work out. Write is different from write out. And find out. Pick up. Okay, so now you are asked to stop again here, go back to the text, try to match these verbs, phrasal verbs, with their definitions. Okay, so after we started guessing these verbs and definitions, let's start by matching them. So write something again and more completely. Of course, this is to write out. Write out means to write something, sorry, again more completely. You can write, but when you write out, it means you have something missed in your writing. So when you complete your writing, if I asked you to write out the exercises, it means to complete doing them and correct any mistakes. Do the calculation to find an answer to maths problem. Do the calculation. What is the calculation? It means this is working with numbers. Working with numbers, so of course this is to work out. Work out, it means to find, do the calculations to find an answer to maths problem. What is maths problems? Or what is a math problem? Maths problems are just like any problems in our lives. Problems are questions that need answers, but here in mathematics, math or maths problem is something that deals with numbers, which is in Arabic مسألة حسابية. Okay, and you need to work out, to find the sum, to find the difference between two numbers, and so on. Learn something new. When you learn something new, you pick up. Of course, this definition, as we mentioned last time, needs some addition. So it's not enough to learn something new. When you pick up, this is a special way of learning. You pick up by accident. You don't pick up by going to school. You don't pick up at school. You don't pick up if you go to university. Pick up means just to catch some knowledge by accident. You didn't mean to pick up this knowledge. So just like when you go to another country and you pick up some new words, it's not as systematic learning, just like going to school or having or taking a course. Of course, this is something different. To pick up, to learn something new by accident. By accident. Okay, test something to see if it works. Means to try it out, to test it, to check if it works. And get information about something to learn about it. Get information about something. This is to find out. Find out is quite gradual. It means step by step. You find out about it. For example, you would like to find out about a certain country, so you start to know more and more whenever you moved inside this country. So this is to find out. You never learn about something from the first time. You need to find out more and more about it. Okay, these are the new vocabs, of course. These were the new vocabulary in the text, taken from the text. Now it's your turn. Of course, you are welcomed to do this exercise. Compare the primary school with yours. Write sentences. Compare your sentences with your partner. Now, here we have a comparison, the table, between Singapore and my school. It means your school. Try to find at least one difference dealing the classroom atmosphere and learning things, the way in which you learn things. Just write one sentence in each part, or you can, of course, make your voice record. This is everything about our lesson. What do we have for next lesson? Of course, here you have your workbook page 71. You are asked to read the text Secret Student, the Secret Student, and, of course, to do the questions, to answer the questions about this text. Then, of course, next time we will do the questions with each other or together so that you can check your answers. Thank you. This is everything about today's lesson. Tomorrow's lesson will be reading your workbook page 71. Thank you for being with us.